Hey guys, welcome back to a page in the chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige and today we are talking through my Magical Hopathon TBR. This is my favourite readathon on the internet. It is so Disney World immersive, and every single time I take part in one of these I want to book a Disney trip. The first Disney trip that I did book was as a result of this readathon. Actually, I think I got like a week into the very first round and booked a Disney trip, so I guess hopefully that happens again, or fingers crossed that doesn't happen again. Depends where you stand. But yes, today we're going to be talking through my TBR for this month-long readathon. I will leave the announcements and the links to Rachel's channel down in the description so that you guys can go check this out and take part if you would like to. It is such a fun readathon where you basically read books for attractions, shows and snacks, and then once you finish that you can hop on over to a different Disney World park. And I always find the prompts really fun and the reading sprints really fun, and so I'm very excited about this July readathon, getting my TBR up just in time. If you guys would like to see more from me and you would like to see the weekly vlogs from this readathon, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. Also, do please feel free to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Page in Chapter for even more updates on how I'm finding this readathon and what I'm reading in real time. So without further ado, let's get on into my TBR for the month and for this readathon. So, in order to enter the parks, you need to read a prompt for your park entry ticket. In previous rounds, this has been a part of the actual readathon, but in this round it has been updated so that you can read it in the weeks leading up to the readathon. So I have already read my park entrance ticket. I read it this past week, and the logic for this is that you would turn up at Disney World with your tickets already purchased most of the time. So the prompt for this is to read a book you cannot stop thinking about. And I read Dust Storm by Maggie Gates. This cover has been calling to me on Kindle Unlimited for ages now, and the way the blurb is written really tempts me in. It is small town single dad romance, except the female main character is already engaged, so it causes a little bit of like conflict and will they won't they between them, and how is all that gonna wrap up. So I was really excited about this. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I was just trying to get through the books that I was currently reading in June, and all I wanted to do was like get within time frame for the Magical Hopathon so I could read this book. I did end up reading it, and I am all ready to go and enter the parks now. I always start with Magic Kingdom, or the Magic Kingdom equivalent. I think I have started with that one in every single round of this readathon, and I thought I would shake things up a little bit, but I've also gone out of my comfort zone for some of the prompts for some of the parks too, and I didn't want to start on anything scary. So basically we are starting in Hollywood Studios this time around, because Hollywood Studios has the most me roundup of books that could have ever been chosen. It is literally just small town romances, I'm pretty sure. It is literally just easy breezy summery romances. So we will be starting in Hollywood Studios, and let me take you through my picks. I will also include the graphic on the screen so that you guys can see. So the attraction that I have chosen for Hollywood Studios is the Runaway Railway, and that is to read a book that you think you can binge. And for this I have chosen Collide. This is a ice hockey sports romance. It gives me the vibes of a KU romance, but I've never actually seen it on Kindle Unlimited. I absolutely adore the cover. The vibes of the cover are really good, and I feel like I just keep seeing really positive reviews of this book, and I'm really intrigued and really ready to jump in and start reading it. So I can definitely binge this. I will be surprised if it takes me more than 2 days to read this, or 2 evenings I guess to read this, because I think this is just gonna slap so hard, and I'm so excited to get into this. Then for my snack I have chosen the frozen cola, because I have always wanted to try one of these. It like haunts my dreams, and this is to read a book with summer vibes. Easy. To me, summer vibes are contemporary romances that take place in the summer, and I had the perfect option for this. I will be reading One Last Shot by Betty Cayute. I mean, look at this cover. You cannot tell me this is not summer in Italy vibes, and I think that's literally what this book is about. So this is a contemporary romance about a supermodel with a former marriage pact to her best friend, and her best friend is now a big fashion photographer, and so she ends up booking onto a shoot with him in Italy to try and remind him of this marriage pact and yeah, try and work things out with him. I get the vibes that something's happened and they've had a falling out, I'm not sure, but this is literally a book about summer in Italy and it sounds incredible and I'm very excited about it. And I have this stunning Afterlight exclusive with the sprayed edges, and the book itself is stunning, so I am very excited to get to this one. And there isn't a single person on this planet who can argue that this isn't summery vibes. And then the show that I have chosen is Phantasmic, which is to read a book by your favorite author. I have many, but I have chosen Elsie Silver for this. I have an entire Elsie Silver stack. I am such a big Elsie Silver fan, and I think the only Elsie Silver book I have left to read is book 4 in the Gold Rush Ranch series, so I have this one on my TBR, and I have heard that this is a lot of people's favorite ones. So I was putting it off until I was like really in the mood and excited about it, and then ended up just not finishing the series, and I'm really excited to get a chance to finish it in this readathon. I'm really hoping that I can read these first 3 books in the first week. It's a little bit ambitious, but because they're all so within my wheelhouse, I would rather just get ahead and start on such a high note and get some of these books that should be easy for me to read out of the way before we jump over into some other parks and have some more daunting reads. So I haven't really decided on the order of the parks that I'm going to go, but I'm going to jump over to Magic Kingdom now we'll just walk through them in order, because the only one that I've decided is that I will do Hollywood Studios first, and other than that it's just going to be a bit of a mood readery kind of thing. I want to leave myself room to mood read as much as possible in this readathon, so yeah, we're just going to see what we're in the mood for. So the attraction that I have chosen for Magic Kingdom is Big Thunder Mountain. This is one of my favorite rides at Disneyland Paris, if not my favorite, so I feel like it would Florida has a lot more options that could be favorites, but I felt like I needed to choose this one. And the prompt for this is to read the wildest book in the wilderness, and I love that little reference. This one was also open to interpretation, because what does that really mean? But I think that I have taken a really good interpretation of it, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So the book I have chosen for wildest book in the wilderness is Lore of the Wilds, and it has wild in the title, and it is about the wild, so I don't see how anyone could argue that this isn't meeting the prompt. This is a kind of fairy tale-esque romantasy book, and we follow our main character Lore as she is trapped by the Fae in this forested prison, and so she makes a desperate deal with this Fae Lord for her freedom and to help him and to help save this library / enchantment / forested area, I guess. I haven't really heard much about this book, but I've been meaning to get to it for a really long time. I got it in a subscription box, and I really like to try my best to read the subscription books that I get. This one has been sat on my TBR for longer than I would have liked it to be, and it just fits the prompt so perfectly to me. It has wild in the title. It is about like a wild foresty area. It's about the Fae, which are notoriously quite wild, and the cover as well is giving wild. So I think I kind of smashed this one out of the park. I was actually really proud of myself when I came up with reading this book for this prompt. And then for Magic Kingdom, I am doubling up my show and my snack prompt. I basically did 2 parks where I doubled up and 2 parks where I didn't. If I end up reading these too quickly, then I can always go back and do different prompts to, like, I don't know, just give myself more to read in the month. But I haven't been tracking my reading or how much I've been reading in a month since I stepped away from booktube, so I don't know if this is doable or not, or if I've been reading more than this, so I've doubled up some of them just in case. So the snack that I have chosen is a cinnamon bun, and that is to read a book over 400 pages, because apparently these cinnamon buns are massive. And then the show that I have chosen is happily ever after, and that is to read a book at night. I will not be reading a book that's over 400 pages in one night, but I feel like I can just crack this open in the evenings. I read most of the time in the evenings after work anyway, so basically any time after 5 o'clock after I finish work is being classified as night to me. And the book that I have chosen for this is Pucking Around. We've talked about this one before. I don't believe that a romance novel, a sports romance novel, should be this long, and I found it really daunting and I haven't wanted to pick it up because this is 700 pages long, but I will be trying it for this video. Worst case scenario, I could just DNF it, choose different prompts, choose different books, it's fine. But also I have heard that this book is actually quite good. I'm just so daunted by the sheer size of it for a contemporary romance that I haven't wanted to pick it up. But for the Magical Hopathon, I will. And I might be massively slowing myself down by reading a book that's 700 pages only at night time. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. It's just gonna have to be like that. So then let's hop on over to Epcot because it is the next on my list. So the attraction that I have chosen for this is Living with the Land. That is to read a book with less than 300 pages. I felt like this balanced out the prompt where I chose to read a book with more than 400. So for this I have chosen Send Nudes by Saba Sams. This is a really short stories collection. It is in total 209 pages. I wanted something short. I've been wanting to get to this for a while, but I've never felt quite in the mood for short stories, and I just think this is going to be such an easy one to get through, and I'm really excited about this collection of short stories. I believe it explores girlhood and womanhood, and in 10 dazzling stories, Saba Sams dives into the world of girlhood and immerses us in its contradictions and complexities. I'm very excited about this one. I think it's going to be really eye-opening and probably stick with me for quite a while, and also quite an easy short read for this readathon after I've just read 700-page romance, and I might need something a little easier. Then the snack that I have chosen for Epcot is the Food and Wine Festival, and that is to randomize a book on your TBR. I will be randomizing this book in my vlogs when I get to it, mostly because I have a very outdated spreadsheet of books on my TBR and I need to actually get around to updating that, figuring out how I want to randomize it. There's a part of me that wants to cheat a little bit and say like, oh, if I just mood read and pick a book that I'm in the mood for, that is like kind of random. Or maybe I will actually randomize it. Maybe I'll just stand in front of my bookcase and point to something. Maybe I'll have Jack choose. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do for this prompt yet, but essentially I will be doing this when I'm vlogging in real time. I think that will be kind of fun for us to do together. There is a book on this TBR that neither of us know yet, and we will figure out at the time. And then the show that I have chosen is Voices of Liberty, and that is to read a book with a beautiful cover. I have this whole wall of stunning special editions. Have I picked any of them for this? No. I will be reading the Book of Azrael because I wanted some more romantasy on this TBR, and I do think this has a stunning cover, mostly because it has skulls on it, and we know that I am partial to some bones, and particularly some skulls. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of skull bones. They're a real pig to identify, but generally I'm a big fan of bones. So I chose the Book of Azrael for this. I don't know much about this book other than it is Kindle Unlimited romantasy. It's probably going to be a little bit trashy, but I think that that only adds to the vibe of a romantasy. And I saw Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction posted about this book and likes this book, and I trust her romantasy recommendations endlessly because she has never steered me wrong. So that is on this TBR. And then we come to Animal Kingdom, the final park. Animal Kingdom is actually the park that intrigues me the most about Disney World. I would really love to go to Disney World at some point if possible, but I feel like Animal Kingdom just intrigues me the most because I don't really get it. The others kind of make sense to me. Animal Kingdom just feels a bit all over the place from what I've seen, but I would love to go and see the vibes. I feel like I would end up really loving this park. So the attraction I have chosen for Animal Kingdom is Flight of Passage, and that is to read a 5-star prediction. And I have chosen a book that hasn't come out yet, so I'm gonna have to get to this park after this book comes out, and that is Play Along by Liz Tomford. This is book 4 in the Windy City series. I have been anxiously awaiting the delivery of this book, I gave book 1 in this series, Mile High. I feel like that is the weakest one in this series. I gave that 3 stars. I think it wasn't amazing. But then books 2 and 3, I don't know what she put in them or what she found out or like what happened, but those 2 I would give them like 10 stars if it was possible to. They are so out of this world good, and I sobbed my eyes out to both of them. I have a feeling this 4th one is going to be just as good too, because it's like a marriage of convenience, kind of getting married in Vegas and then being like, oh shit, what have we done kind of vibes, and I love books like that. So that plus Liz Tomford is just gonna absolutely slay, and I cannot wait for this book, and it is one of my 5-star predictions for the entire year and one of my most anticipated releases of the entire year. So very, very excited to get to this one as soon as it comes out for this readathon. I think it's going to be amazing. And then I am doubling up the prompts for my show and my snack for Animal Kingdom, and this is the one that I am daunted about. So the snack that I am choosing is the Night Blossom, and that is to read an Instagram worthy book. We again come back to my wall of special editions. And then the show that I would like to see is Nemo, and that is to read a book that is out of your comfort zone. So when we put together Instagram worthy book, so for me that would be a special edition, be out of my comfort zone, we get An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. I have heard incredible things about this author. I feel like a lot of people are excited about An Education in Malice. This is so out of my comfort zone. This is all I know about this is that it's a dark academia, and I think it's sapphic, and it sounds really good, but it's just not the usual thing that I would read. I'm quite scared of this one, but I think if I can get into it, it's good to read things out of your comfort zone every now and again, and I might really enjoy it. Like, I loved The Secret History, even though I'm not a huge dark academia fan. I loved that book and I was happy I read it, so maybe this will be the same. So this is a dark academia rivals to lovers. I was correct. It is sapphic, and it kind of deals with balancing school politics and dark magic and secrets afoot and just all that good dark academia goodness. It's not that I don't like dark academia, it just very much feels out of my comfort zone. It is not the easy breezy, no thoughts required approach that I like to take to my reading, because I like my reading to make me feel happy, and I find when I read dark academia it makes me feel anxious, and normally that is like a mark of a good book, but it's not something that I enjoy feeling, so I try to stay away from it if possible. But this book is absolutely stunning. I mean, the edges, the cover, under the book, the end papers, like, this is definitely an Instagrammable book, and it is definitely outside of my comfort zone, so it is the perfect pick for this. And so that is my entire Magical Hopathon TBR. I have like backups, I guess, like if where I've doubled up I need more books to read, then I will go back to some. Maybe I will take the approach where if I finish all 4 parks, then I'll go back to another park and just do the other prompts in that. I'm hopeful that I would be able to read this and then go back and do some more, but it very much depends on factors, doesn't it? Like, no one reads consistently the exact same amount all of the time, so we'll just have to see how it goes. But I definitely am hopeful that I can finish this entire TBR that I have shared with you today. So if you enjoyed seeing my TBR, you would like to see how I get on with it, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I have left all of the links that you need for the Magical Hopathon and how to take part in the description, so do please go and check out Rachel's channel, because she is the wonderful creator of my favourite readathon and she deserves all of the love. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you would like to see more from me. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, you're enjoying everything you are reading, and there are no reading slumps in your future, especially if you're about to take part in the Magical Hopathon, and I will see you for my next video. Bye guys.